The rising sun bathed the small town of Achina in a golden glow as Chijioke prepared for another day at his workshop. As the village's most skilled carpenter, his life was a routine of shaping wood and crafting furniture. But something deep within him yearned for more. At 35, he was considered long overdue for marriage. Elders in the village teased him at every opportunity, while younger women shyly hinted at their interest, but Chijioke never found the connection he craved. It wasn't as though Chijioke didn't try. He had courted before, twice, in fact, but both relationships ended in heartbreak. The first was Amaka. He ended when her family insisted on marrying her off to a wealthy trader. The second was Nkem, collapsed under the weight of her jealousy, her suspicions poisoning every tender moment. On a particular humid afternoon, Chijioke wandered through the bustling marketplace to purchase supplies. He whipped through stalls of yams, vegetables, and dried fish until his eyes landed on a small booth draped with vibrant beads and jewelry. Sitting behind the counter was a woman he had never seen before. Her skin glowed like the smooth back of mahogany, and her soft, deliberate movement drew him closer. "Good afternoon," Chijioke greeted, his voice unexpectedly unsteady. The woman looked up, her dark eyes locking with his. "Good afternoon. Looking for something special?" Chijioke nodded, though he wasn't entirely sure why. "I was just passing by, but your work caught my eye. Do you make all this yourself?" The woman smiled, a soft, knowing curve on her lips. "Yes, every piece. My name is Norma." They talked for what felt like hours, exchanging small stories about life in the village and their respective crafts. Norma was an enigma, kind and polite, yet guarded when it came to personal details. When Chijioke asked about her family, she simply said, "I lost them a long time ago. It's just me now." As the sun dipped low in the sky, Chijioke found himself lingering by her stall. When he finally summoned the courage to ask her to dinner, she hesitated for only a moment before agreeing. Weeks passed and Chijioke and Nneoma's courtship blossomed. Nneoma moved into Chijioke's mother's home shortly after their small, quiet wedding. The ceremony was simple, attended by a few close friends and neighbors. When Chijioke asked about her family, Nneoma repeated her story about being an orphan, and though whispers of doubt spread through the village, Chijioke dismissed them. In the beginning, their life together was blissful. Nneoma seemed to transform Chijioke's house into a home, filling it with warmth and care. Her love for him felt pure and unwavering, and soon she announced that she was expecting their first child. But as time passed, strange things began to happen. It started with small, almost unnoticeable squeaks. Norma never ate in front of others, claiming she preferred to eat alone. Chijioke found it odd but never pressed her about it. During church services, Norma often excused herself halfway through, citing headaches or fatigue. One Sunday, the village priest mentioned seeing her wandering near the river during service time, staring at the waters as though in a trance. "What were you doing by the river, Norma?" Chijioke asked that evening. She smiled faintly. "Sometimes the sound of water helps me think, that's all." But it wasn't just her peculiar habits. Animals behaved strangely around her. Dogs growled and barked whenever she passed, and birds seemed to scatter at her approach. Chijioke began to notice that she avoided mirrors, always turning away or leaving the room when he was near one. "Don't you think it's odd?" his neighbor Mama Nkechi asked one day. "A wife doesn't eat in front of her husband, who avoids church and mirrors." Chioke laughed uneasy, brushing off the old woman's concerns. You know how women can be with their squeaks, but deep down a sense of doubt had been planted. The arrival of an old friend called Obina, Chijioke's childhood friend Obina, returned to Achina. Obina has gone for nearly a decade, having moved to Lagos in search of greener pastures. They had lost touch over the years, but when Obina appeared at Chijioke's workshop, it was as though no time had passed. My brother, Obina exclaimed playfully, hitting Chijioke on the back. It's good to see you again. Chijioke beamed. You have been gone too long, Obina. Come, you must meet my family. Obinna followed Chijioke home, marveling at how little the village had changed. Chijioke couldn't contain his pride as he introduced his friend to Norma and their younger daughter, Amarachi. This is my wife, Norma, Chijioke said, gesturing proudly. When Norma appeared in the doorway, carrying Amarachi in her arms, Obinna froze. His expression shifted from joy to confusion, then to outright fear. Norma, he whispered, his voice barely audible. Norma's smile fluttered. She held Obina's gaze for a moment before apparently retreating into the house, clutching Amarachi tightly. Chijoke, Obina said, his voice shaky. Do you know who your wife is? Chijoke frowned. What are you talking about? That's Norma, my wife, and the mother of my child. Obinna shook his head, his face pale. No, Chijoke, that's not possible. Norma died 3 years ago in Owerri. I was at her funeral. Chijoke's heart thundered in his chest. You must be mistaken. My Norma is alive. She's here right now. But when Chijoke turned to call for her, the house was silent. Norma was gone. Only Amarachi remained, crying softly in her crib. The silence in the house was deafening. Chijoke's knee felt weak as he clung to the doorway, staring at the spot where Norma had disappeared. He turned back to Obina, whose face was still pale with fear. Obina shook his head grimly. Chijoke, I saw her body. She drowned in the Njaba River. They found her washed up on the banks days later. The whole town attended her burial. Chijoke refused to believe it. No, that can't be true. She's my wife. We have been together for years. We even have a child, Obina. Obina's voice softened, though it was laced with urgency. Listen to me, Chijoke. You must seek answers. There is only one person in this town who can help you understand what's happening. Reluctantly, Chijioke agreed to visit the village elder. Obina stayed behind to watch over Amarachi, whose cries had subsided into quiet murmurs. The elder's hut was dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of burning herbs. Baboji, the oldest man in Achina, and a renowned spiritual guide, sat cross-legged on a mat, his piercing eyes studying Chijioke as he entered. Baba, I need your help, Chijioke began, his voice trembling. My wife, she disappeared. My friend says she's someone who died years ago. I don't know what to believe. Babaji nodded slowly as though he already knew that Chijoke was about to say. He gestured for Chijoke to see, then began to speak in a low, deliberate tone. Your wife, Norma, is not among the living. She is a spirit, what some might call a restless soul. Chijoke felt as though the ground had shifted beneath him. A spirit? No, Baba, you must be mistaken. She has been with me for years. We have a daughter. How can she be? Babaji raised a hand to silence him. Spirits like Norma often return to the mortal world seeking solace, love, or redemption. They can assume human form and live among us, but their existence is fragile. The moment someone from their past recognizes them, their connection to this world begins to unravel. Chijioke's mind raced as he recalled all the strange occurrences, the animals' reaction, her avoidance of Miro, her reluctance to discuss her past. It all began to make a terrible kind of sense. Why did she choose me? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The elder looked at him with sympathy. Perhaps she saw you in a kind way. that she longs for in her life. But what about Amarachi? Chioke pleaded. She's our child. What does this mean for her? Amarachi is special, Babaji said. She carries the essence of both worlds, the mortal and the spiritual. You must protect her, Chijoke. Her connection to her mother's world will be both a blessing and a burden. Chijoke left the elder's hut with a heavy heart, torn between his love for Norma and the impossible reality of her existence. What did the elder say? Obina asked. Chijioke sighed deeply, his shoulders slumping. He said Norma is a spirit and that she can't stay. She's gone. Obina, she's really gone. Obina nodded solemnly, placing a hand on his friend's shoulder. I'm sorry, Chijioke. I wish there was something I could do. For days, Chijioke grappled with his grief. The absence of Norma was a void that could not be filled. He searched the house for any sign of her, her scent, her touch, her voice, but she was truly gone. And yet, Amarachi seemed strangely at peace. The little girl often babbled and laughed as though speaking to someone unseen. One afternoon, as Chijoke watched her play by the river, she looked up at him with her mother's eyes and said, Mama is here. She says she loves you. Chijoke's breath caught in his throat. He dropped to his knees, pulling Amarachi into a tight embrace. He didn't see Norma, but he felt her presence. A gentle breeze rustling through the trees, a warmth that enveloped him like an unseen hug. Years later, on the anniversary of Norma's disappearance, Chijoke and Amarachi visited the riverbank where she had been seen. Amarachi, now a vibrant young girl, knelt by the water's edge and placed a flower into the current. She's happy, Papa, Amarachi said with a smile. She says thank you for loving her. Chijioke felt tears stain his eyes, but they were no longer tears of sorrow. Instead, they were tears of gratitude for the love he had shared with Norma, however brief, and for the gift of their daughter. That night, as Chijioke drifted off to sleep, he dreamt of Norma. She stood before him, radiant and smiling, her arms outstretched. Thank you, she whispered, for everything. When Chijioke awoke, he felt a peace he hadn't known in years. Though Norma was gone, her love remained, a quiet, unshakable presence in his heart and in the life of their extraordinary daughter. We've come to the end of this story. I hope you did enjoy this amazing story. If this is your first time of stumbling to my channel, you're highly welcome. For my returning subscribers, a big thank you. Please, guys, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button to get notification on my updates.